Hello and welcome to Cinematic Journeys. I'm Buddy Rydell, and I'm not going to be talking like Jack Nicholson the whole time. So sorry, but no. Today we're looking at Anger Management, the Adam Sandler film that I haven't seen until now. Hold on. There seems to be not so much. There's more light, a little bit. Do I have to turn on this light to get more? I guess so. It's a little better, I guess. So, as I often do with my reviews, a little history. I grew up in the 90s. So, I grew up in the age of prime Adam Sandler films like Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Bulletproof, The Waterboy, all those films. There are some I haven't seen, such as this one. So, as I often do when I review movies, halfway through I start kind of putting in my head how I feel about this. I started doing this 20 minutes into the film because this film starts off in such a way that really, got me angry. See, I remember the trailers for this, and the trailers made it seem as if Adam Sandler was playing a character with anger management issues that caused him to go into an anger management class and caused him to have to live with Jack Nicholson, and then they find out he has anger management issues and that causes problems. One of those little situation comedy type things, but that's not what it is at all. This film starts out with Dave, played by Adam Sandler, and he's a kid, and he's about to kiss the girl of his dreams. And some other kid comes up, pantses him, right? And this is where I'm like, okay, this is where his anger starts. He's going to get pissed, punch the kid in the head or something, and that's going to start his anger issues. No. This... David Dorfman, who wrote this, look, I understand the payoff at the end of the film, but when this film started, so it's kind of hard for me to explain, actually. He doesn't actually have anger issues at the beginning of this film. Adam Sandler, Dave, is a timid, meek, quiet kind of guy who doesn't, explode on anyone. There's an incident on a plane when he's on his business trip where he keeps asking the stewardess for a headset so he can watch the in-flight film, the in-flight movie, and she keeps ignoring him, which causes him to keep asking and asking. Then or the flight attendant on stewardess, whatever. The sky marshal comes in and confronts him, and it's one of those jokes they do. Keep calm down, calm down, calm down. When the guy's not even, he's being calm. Calm down, I'm calm. Calm down, I'm calm. Sir, you need to calm down. I'm calm. And then he gets tased for the one outburst he did, even though. And then he gets sentenced to anger management classes by the chief from Carmen Sandiego. I'm not kidding. So then, yes, so he gets out of anger management class with Buddy Rydell, who happened to have been the guy who was sitting next to him on the plane. And so Jack Nicholson plays Buddy Rydell, of course. And so you go to this class, and he meets some people in there. There's Krista Allen and January Jones play lesbians / bisexual women who are also in the porn industry. There is Luis Guzman, who plays a homosexual. I think he's supposed to be homosexual. I'm not 100% sure, but it's what it seems like. There is that one guy who's in all of Adam Sandler's movies. Kind of talks like this, and he has the weird eye thing, and I don't know. what the actor's name is. He was one of the two guys in Little Nicky. He was one of the he was in one of his lawyer friends in Big Daddy, which is another one I grew up with. You know, he's done a lot of Adam Sandler's films, and he's in this. And he's this guy who has anger issues due to sports, I think, something like that. He's a sports guy, and he's got this thing, you know. And then there's John Turturro, who's probably one of the best side characters in this film. And John Turturro ends up asking him to a bar, where John Turturro goes off on this biker dude. And they get into a little scuffle, and as Dave is trying to pull him off, this blind dude comes up from behind, hits him with his cane, which he's blind, so I don't know how he saw him. And as he's trying to stop the blind dude, he hits the waitress in the face, in the nose, breaks her nose. And is going to get 1 year in prison for accidentally hitting the waitress. But then he's reprimanded by Buddy Rydell for advanced anger management training, which involves Buddy moving into the place with Dave. And let me tell you, from here on, I didn't hate this film. I didn't say this with Anchorman. Anchorman, I generally didn't really care for. This one was okay. The ending had me confused because a lot of it doesn't make much sense. But Buddy takes him on a journey. First, you know, there's this thing where the hospital calls about Buddy's mom in the hospital. She's going to have surgery. But supposedly is for a jelly bean in her nose, which you wouldn't need surgery. You just go, or whichever nostril it's in. You don't need surgery for a jelly bean in your nose. That's got to be the most ridiculous writing I've ever heard in an Adam Sandler movie, and Jack and Jill, but you know what I mean. Surgery for a jelly bean in her nose. So Buddy takes him to a bar where he convinces him to hit on another woman, even though he has a girlfriend who is played by the gorgeous Marissa Tomei. I know she's old enough to be my mother, but I don't care. You know? She's gorgeous. She's a gorgeous woman. But, yeah, let's stop right here and just ask the question. How does a schlub like Adam Sandler get all these gorgeous women in these films? He has Kate Beckinsale, Marissa Tomei, Katie Holmes, all these beautiful women to play his wife in the film. I mean, I've seen his actual wife is actually pretty good looking too. She's a pretty face. Don't get me wrong. But, come on. Sandler could get someone like Marissa Tomei. I mean, come on. Come on! But anyways, I lost it. So he hits on her by using this stupid line, which works. And right from that moment when he says this, I'm like, this is a setup. This is a setup. And it was. He knows, I guess she was one of his patients, I guess. And he set this up. He set it up. It was a setup. She throws cake at him, whatever. I don't know. It was a setup from the beginning. And then they go to this Buddhist temple where they find the bully who pulled his pants down, played by John C. Reilly. And then this is where I was just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? If you want him to confront the bully, have him confront the bully. Don't have him be a Buddhist. And then they just have him still be an asshole. So they beat the hell out of him. And that's fine if you want to have him beat the hell out of his childhood bully. But the guy's a monk. You don't beat up a monk, you know. They have him say this weird thing like, oh, I was molesting your mentally challenged sister, which is not funny at all. Which had me kind of, I was going, oh my God, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then it gets to this point. Eventually, Dave's girlfriend, Marissa Tomei, says she wants to take a break. She wants to, trial separation. One, you're not married. Trial separation only applies when you are married. If you're in a relationship, you're on a break. Ask Ross. They're in New York. You can go ask Ross. They were on a break. I wanted to scream that because there's a scene where he takes the two hot chicks, January Jones and Krista Allen from his group, to there, and he's like, "Oh, you're seeing someone else," and she's like, "Oh, you're seeing someone else," and then she's with Buddy, and I'm like, "Well, you're on a break," I'm just yelling at TV screen. She's with Buddy. Yes, it turns out that supposedly Buddy fell in love with her by looking at a picture of her. And there's also this subplot with this co-worker who used to date her, who may or may not have a giant dick. Who cares? Buddy is now dating Linda, and this is where when he walks in and she's like, "Oh, this is Buddy," and I pause it and I'm like, no, this has got to be a setup. This has to be a setup. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way that it's Adam Sandler film, but there's no fucking way that she would go out with his doctor. There's no way. That makes no sense. And it was a setup. The whole thing was for this whole thing. And I'm spoiling it right now. The whole fucking movie was a setup. I think. They reveal that they set up everything on the plane except for the Sky Marshal. He was just having a bad day, apparently. Was the judge set up? Or did Buddy have to come in and say, "Hey, we're just doing this, let it go"? How much of it was set up? We know that there's this thing where there is a joke that I did kind of laugh at later, but I thought it was stupid. So they have, earlier in the film, Buddy has Dave go pick up a hooker. But it's Woody Harrelson in drag. And I was like, why can't you just have an aggressive woman? But they come back to it, where Dave is going to grab the microphone so he can finally publicly tell his girlfriend that he loves her, and he's stopped by a security guard played by Woody Harrelson. And you think, oh, it's just a dual role. But no, he calls it out, Galaxia, and he's like, "Shh, it's Carrie," or whatever it is. And he's like, he's like, "I tell my girlfriend that I love her," and he's like, "Oh, you like her, you do it," or something like that. And I'm just like, okay, that's cool. They came back to that, and he does, and they reveal that Buddy orchestrated this whole thing, and that coming on. Okay, I kind of get it now. But the scene before this, where he goes off on his boss, that can't be orchestrated by Buddy. That's all the anger that he's actually had inside him. His frustrations coming out. He breaks a lamp with a golf club, steps on Andrew's head. By the way, played by Alan Covert, so he's in everything too. That can't be set up by Buddy. Something's gotta happen there. He says he's gonna go to jail. There's anger stuff, but I'm pretty sure he's safe. But yeah, if everything was set up, how much of it was set up and how much of it wasn't? We're not given specifically how much of it was set up. We just know that everything on the plane except the Sky Marshal was the stuff in court set up, was that thing in office, was the boss in on it? Was he deliberately not giving him a what is that called? Not a raise, but a promotion on purpose? I think that was real. And I think now maybe that was trying to get... This whole thing was so that he can finally, come out and not, have his feelings, show his feelings to people. Ironically, though, I don't think they had to go this way around it, though. It's just, like, they revealed that Linda, that's Mr. Tomei's character, went to Buddy Rydell for help. Why? He's an anger management therapist. Dave did not have anger management before this movie happened. And now, Buddy Rydell has turned Dave, a nice, timid man, into a raging psychopath. It's just like him. I guess I just don't get it. Like, if they had done this, like, if he actually had anger management issues, I could buy this was a whole setup to try to, because you were anger and I was about to leave you. That would make sense, you know? But, no. He does not have anger management issues. He even, like, he comes out and admits, I have an anger problem. Like, no, you don't. You didn't have an anger problem before you met Buddy Rydell. You were just fine. You were a normal, average person. Yes, you were closeting your feelings, but that does not mean you have an anger problem. Having Adam Sandler as this angry person, play an angry person, would have worked. You didn't need to have him timid from the beginning. You know? I think if you wrote it the way I said it, you know, how he had anger issues since he was a kid because he got pantsed by this bully, and then maybe that's why she set it up, I think it would have worked better. But I did like how the ending came around and everyone's all happy and everything, and John Turturro was the funniest thing in this film, let me tell you. But yeah, so as a first time watch, anger management wasn't that bad. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I enjoyed it for what it was. It's not the best Adam Sandler movie. I'm thinking, you know, birth month is coming up. That's where I go back and I revisit stuff from childhood. Should look at some of the movies that came out back in the 90s. You know, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Big Daddy. Movies like that. Eventually one day do an Adam Sandler ranking or something. Who knows? But until then, that's a 6 out of 5. 6 out of 10. Until then, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Buddy Rydell. See you in the next one. That's a terrible impersonation. This is a better one. This town needs an enema. What? I love Batman, so sue me.